This is CBS Austin Sports Sunday with Bob Ballou.
I think we're all very fortunate to be in this game. It's a lot of hard work to get here.
I know the team's prepared. We've exhausted everything.
I know my position in the team, and I know what my job entitles.
And you like to see good things happen to good people.
They don't have the heart and the work ethic that Nick Foles does.
The brand is still there. People still love the University of Texas. The rudder was just loose. So we got to get the ship right. This is what we need for us to win championships.
We really came together and just talked it out. Like, we got to win this game.
We know what it takes. You just fight. You fight, compete, pride, all that.
Andrew Jones is making positive strides. That the best possible news from his family yesterday. They say the UT guard is even able to get out of bed. Jones then tweeted, "I would like to thank everyone for all the support and love. I'm doing a lot better and still fighting." The UT site for his fundraising has hit more than $166,000. From 2004 to 2015, Joel McHale hosted the show The Soup, a recap of popular culture and TV moments with his own snarky comments throughout the show. The Soup. From 1994 to 2009, Chicago County General Hospital was a site for all kinds of drama, love between doctors, and fantastic emergency room scenarios on the show ER. And from 1984 to 1992, maybe the best of the bunch, Judge Harry T. Stone tried to corral his courtroom full of misfits at night. No one a better bailiff than Richard Moll's character, Bull. So when you combine Joel McHale, the cast of ER, and our hilarious bailiff from Night Court, what is it? It's the Soup Bull. It's a perfect way to guide us into Super Bowl 52. Welcome inside a Super Sunday. I'm Bob Ballou. 15 players in the Super Bowl played high school football in Texas, more than any other state. 10 players played college ball in the Lone Star State. Maybe the most intriguing player in tonight's game, the kid from Austin Westlake. Nick Foles endured the questions in the regular season as he tried to replace probable MVP Carson Wentz. When the playoffs came, Foles answered those questions. Tonight was just about staying the aggressor. Foles and the Eagles did that early as they try to win the franchise's first ever Super Bowl. 12 quarterbacks have won multiple Super Bowls. Only number 12 has won 5. And the Shaps QB wrangles up his first passing TD early. Foles deep to Alshon Jeffrey for the 34-yard score. Missed extra point, though, makes it just 9-3 Philly. Second quarter, same score. 3rd and 5 for New England. Texas Tech product Danny Amendola in the reverse, just over the outstretched arms of Brady. Now, why is that interesting? Because late first half, 4th and goal for the Eagles. Corey Clement takes the snap, pitches to Trey Burton, who does not overthrow Nick Foles. Nick will always be the answer to the trivia question, what QB was the first to catch a TD pass in the Super Bowl? Eagles lead 22-12 at the half, now up 32-26 in the 4th. Brady to Rob Gronkowski, 4 yards. Patriots lead 33-32, but cool as a cucumber. Here comes Foles and the Eagles. Nick hits Zach Ertz for the 11-yard score. Foles 373 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, another receiving, and the Super Bowl MVP. The Patriots' Hail Mary hits the ground, and the Eagles win its first Super Bowl in franchise history. It's the second time a Westlake quarterback wins MVP honors. Drew Brees did that as well. And Marcus Johnson and Jordan Hicks become the Longhorns' 25th and 26th Super Bowl winners. Eagles win 41-33.
This is, that was a hard-fought game. I mean, New England's a tremendous team, one of the greatest quarterbacks and coaches of all time. And just for us, it was the team all year, just fight till the end, just keep leaning on each other.
It's an incredible feeling. I mean, I can't put it into words. The city of Philadelphia deserves this. They've been longing for this for a long time, and I'm just so grateful to be able to do this for them.
They made a lot of good plays today, and we battled. It was competitive, but we just obviously didn't get the job done. I mean, losing sucks, but that's part of you. You show up and you try to win, and sometimes you lose, and that's the way it goes.
Can't interrupt Tom Brady, despite the fact he's now 5-3 in the Super Bowl. Foles answered a lot of the questions about him on the field tonight, but one spot no one needed to worry about, failure for him off the field. As CBS Austin's Jeff Barker explains, his journey from starter to backup and now Super Bowl MVP is one of the more compelling ones in the league.
To those that have known him for years, this was no surprise.
And Foles able to get away and throw. Pass is caught. Jeffrey, touchdown!
And neither is seeing him on football's grandest stage.
Not one bit. I've known him his whole life.
He's the type of guy that I think he wants to win if he's playing tiddlywinks.
Derek Long coached Foles at Westlake High School.
Yeah, this is a Westlake history room, I guess.
And says that competitive fire was also coupled with an unselfishness rarely seen from a high school quarterback.
That's such a bad pass.
We would hand out stickers after the game. Every Saturday morning when Nick had his there on his locker, he would take them and give them to his offensive linemen. And so if you watch the state game, you're going to see that there's a lot of people with a lot of stickers on their helmets, but Nick doesn't have any.
He's taking the same approach with the underdog Eagles. And what better symbol for that than Foles himself? Pro Bowler in 2013, then thoughts of retirement after stints with the Rams and Chiefs, now full circle back to Philly.
You know, I never lost hope, but at the same time, like, I'm so blessed to be in this moment with this group of guys. I could have never, being in this moment is just unreal. It's been a crazy year.
Foles no longer makes his full-time home in Austin, but remains active in the community.
Nick is consistent with his desire to help others.
Alongside founder and UT football great Doug English, Foles is a board member of the Lone Star Paralysis Foundation, an organization dedicated to helping those with serious spinal cord injuries.
He takes a significant percentage of his income off the top and it goes to charities. He didn't put that out there, and I almost feel guilty putting it out there and bragging on him too much because Nick doesn't want that. Nick just wants to do what Nick does.
And again, it's why those that know him best aren't shocked by what he's doing.
I mean, I've seen people with more talent do a whole lot less because they don't have the heart and the work ethic that Nick Foles does.
Jeff Barker, CBS Austin Sports.
Just an incredible ride for Foles, and now he can call himself a Super Bowl MVP. Well, since his arrival in December, Chris Del Conte is taking control of the biggest and smallest things in the University of Texas Athletic Department. This week, he sat down with me to discuss a wide range of topics, and in part one, we started by discussing how Mike Perrin made his job a little easier.
Oh, I mean, we are grateful for Mike. I mean, he's done an awesome job. But I think even pre-Mike, the reality is you lost 100 years of leadership. Actually, maybe longer than that. You lost the Chancellor, President Powers, DeLoss, 33 years, Mack, Augie, and Rick Barnes. And then you've had 2 ADs. And during all that time, the constant was our student athletes loved being here. But there was a lot of upheaval, and really was just if you look at the Texas as an aircraft carrier, all the bones are there. The brand is still there. People still love the University of Texas. The rudder was just loose. So our job is just tighten the rudder. Mike did that. By now they've given me the chair to sit in, and I think the biggest thing coming from TCU to here is TCU is a battleship. You can say change right, left, and they'll just do it. Here, I got 9 people to change the boat to the left. You know, I go left, 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 they come back, what, left, dang it.
Tom Herman, 7-6, when the program wins a bowl game for the first time since 2012. What does he want in conversations you've had? What does he want the most, and what do you want the most from him?
I think Tom, first of all, let's celebrate the fact that he won a bowl game. First time in 2012. That's awesome, right? But it's also, really, since 2012? So we got to get the ship right. He has #2 recruiting class in the country. And then we'll address facilities. One of the things that we want to really focus on this offseason is maintaining his staff. I know people were looking at Orlando, and I wanted to let him know that one of the things I always did at TCU is I prided myself on is if you are wanted by someone else and we want you, you're not going anywhere. And so we want to make continuity of staff, let Tom know that we are the wind beneath his wings, and we're going to do what he needs to be successful. And I think now we'll address offseason our plans for the South End Zone building. We need to, our facilities are fantastic, they're just old.
What's the most important thing for the basketball program moving forward?
Shaka in our basketball was just bit by bad luck. Think about this. I mean, I'm so distraught what's happened to AJ. And then we had a kid break his wrist, and you had all these things, just no continuity for him, right? But Shaka's compassion for that young man has been awesome, and what the Longhorn Nation reaching out and supporting him has just been spectacular. But men's basketball, again, is one of our revenue producers, and we need football and men's basketball to be clicking at all fronts. And we have the right coaches, and we need to get him a new facility. But Katie's gift was awesome because now you walk in and go, holy cow, one of ours did that. And it's not about facilities, but again, it's about having all those things necessary that they all go in part and parcel.
Georgia and Georgia Tech can do it. Clemson and South Carolina can do it. Florida and Florida State can do it. Not going to ask for a timeline, or unless you have one. But how important in your mind is it that one day Texas and Texas A&M play football again on a yearly basis?
I think it's important that rivalries matter. It matters that Nebraska should be playing Oklahoma.
Yeah, absolutely.
It does. Those are things we're made of. Texas and A&M have been playing forever, and at some point in time it'll come, right? But I think those conversations are great. Rivalries are great, and they need to be played, right? But they're going to be played when in football we're so far, but we're playing in basketball, we're playing in baseball, we're playing in other sports, right? But the big question is, when will we play in football, the one that matters to everybody? But it's not far from the hearts and minds of everybody. I do think you're right. At some point in time, the conversation will be had.
All right, tonight's Sports Sunday Stumper, name the only 2 foreign-born players to win the Super Bowl MVP. Got that answer later in the show.
Now, Don Hewlett's Sports Sunday with Bob Ballou.
We understand when we play our best, we have a chance against anybody. It's going to definitely be a challenge for us, but this team's never backed down from challenges.
We know that our best is good enough. It always has been. But we also know that we do need to play our best.
He's got it! They will not catch him! Pressure. Down he goes! To the 5. Touchdown, Texas!
We really don't have anything to prove to anybody but ourselves.
I don't remember the last time we've had 10 wins. It would be huge.
And it would show that we got our program headed in the right direction.
We're very excited. This is a goal that we've had since we set out in January, was playing a big bowl game.
Both Dallas and Houston made the NFL playoffs in 1993, and it didn't happen again until 2016, a span of 24 years. Only took 2 to get both Texas cities back in again. The most important thing about the season finale for both and the entire NFL playoff picture coming up in minutes. First, though, a history lesson. France claimed Louisiana in the 1690s. And then in 1721, engineer Adrien Despaget laid out the entire format for the French Quarter. Despaget wanted to give the rulers of France something special, so he gave them a name, the House of Bourbon. Now, we're inside Bourbon View, where the 2019 Sugar Bowl party took place. But tonight, we're taking CBS Austin Sports Sunday out on the balcony of Bourbon Street. Now, look, we're not going to take you down on the street because, well, if you've been here, you know why. Welcome inside CBS Austin Sports Sunday. I'm Bob Ballou, live in the French Quarter in New Orleans. We are 48 hours away from the 2019 Sugar Bowl between Texas and Georgia, the first meeting between these two teams since the 1984 Cotton Bowl. And where else would we start than with these 2 quarterbacks? The 2 sophomores in this game, Sam Ehlinger, the Texas quarterback, alongside Georgia's Jake Fromm. The 2 first met each other in Oregon at the 2016 Elite 11 camp. 2 years later, the 2 meet here. Fromm played for a national title with Georgia last year. Ehlinger is working to get Texas back in the national conversation. Both employ different styles. As I joked with Fromm this morning, Sam seeks out linebackers. Fromm wasn't of that mindset.
I know for sure in my conference it's probably not a good idea when you do that. So I've definitely tried to avoid that and throw a couple more balls downfield.
Very good friends with Jake. We've texted a few times since we've been here. He's a really great dude. Everyone that I've talked to loves being around him. He's a really easy guy to like. I think that we love talking the game, and we've seen each other a lot and been to a lot of similar camps.
Now, is there a question that stirs up Texas fans more these days than is Texas back? Well, it's a pretty good question right now, and I think everyone has a different opinion about that. But one particular set of backs, the defensive backs, are really starting to play some good football. And for Georgia, it was a resounding yes that those defensive backs are back. CBS Austin's Jeff Barker explains how DBU is finally getting some respect again.
In the Georgia film room, there's one thing that really jumps off the screen about the Texas defensive backs.
Your DBs are one of the most physical groups I've seen all year.
They're going to hit you, try to smack you in your mouth. And, I mean, that's the type of game we love.
Quite a compliment from an SEC program. The Longhorns' 68th-ranked defense took its lumps this season, but building that culture of physicality helped push them through.
Your kind of rite of passage to get on this defense is you have to be physical. Now it's player-led, so if a player sees somebody being soft in practice or, turning down hits or whatever it is, they're kind of looking at us before they get on him and say, you know what, he doesn't belong on this field.
And in that secondary, it all starts with Brandon Jones, or that dude, as Todd Orlando calls him. Jones is still undecided on the NFL draft, but his return would be huge for a secondary building around Caden Stearns and 5 top 10 DBs from last year's recruiting class.
We have a lot of younger guys that don't have a choice but to come back. So overall, I think we're going to be a really good team next year, and it'll be really fun to be able to get the chance to play with them again.
For PJ Locke, the Sugar Bowl is definitely it. Locke is a part of a senior class that helped lay the foundation for a turnaround and potentially the return of the DBU moniker.
When I first signed to Texas, that's one of the things I wanted to do, just help get Texas back to where they were on a winning level. And so far, I have accomplished that goal.
But is DBU really back?
I don't want to speak upon DBU. Just I want the old heads to let us know it's okay for us to do that. So, you know what I mean? That's just the respect I have for those guys.
With the Longhorns in New Orleans, Jeff Parker, CBS Austin Sports.
All right, Jeff, the Georgia defense is stout, and while their approach to containing Lil Jordan Humphrey and Colin Johnson is worth watching, so is seeing if Texas can get anything out of its running attack. Trey Watson and Keontae Ingram average a combined 110 yards per game, and the elder statesman in Watson sees great things coming for the freshman Ingram.
Really? Really think so? You that confident? I definitely, truly think so. Yeah. I mean, he's a great player. Being so young and doing the things that he does is unreal. I wasn't there as a freshman, so I know it's shocking to see somebody like that. I feel like he has a great shot at being the best back in the country.
All right, more from the Sugar Bowl in a little bit, but let's talk some NFL for a second. The Cowboys did not need to win, but they acted all week like they did. The Texans did need to win, and it was no act knowing that they did. Houston could finish anywhere from the first seed in the AFC with home field advantage and a bye to 6th and a road game next week. The Cowboys locked into that 4 seed. Let's start in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Possibly Eli Manning's final game with the Giants, 2 Super Bowls, 6th all-time in the league in passing yards, and he would get a chance to win it late. First things first, Blake Jarwin is apparently the second coming of Jason Witten. 7 catches, 119 yards, and 3 touchdowns, although Witt never did the latter. Dallas trailed 35-28 late in the fourth quarter. 4th and 15 from the Giants' 32. Dak Prescott to Cole Beasley for the 32-yard score. But you can't go to overtime and get someone hurt. So Garrett the Gambler goes for it. Dak Prescott, Michael Gallup, good. 36-35 Cowboys, not supposed to be this exciting in Week 17. Last chance for an Eli comeback, 4th and 10. Manny to Cody Latimer, no, and it's a 10-win season for the Cowboys. 36-35, the final. With a win, the Texans would assure themselves a top 3 seed in the AFC. Today, hosting Jacksonville, not much to it. DeAndre Hopkins, 147 yards receiving. Deshaun Watson and Lamar Miller, 122 yards rushing and 2 scores. And the Texans' defense clamps down. The Jags finish with 6 first downs and 119 yards of offense. Bye-bye, Bortles. The Texans will host next weekend. They win 20-3. So things are set in the NFC. The Cowboys will host the Seahawks next weekend on Saturday. Dallas, the 4 seed. The Vikings' loss means Westlake product Nick Foles and the defending Super Bowl champion Eagles are back in the playoffs. Saints and the Rams get the byes. In the AFC, the Chiefs and Patriots earn byes. The Texans are the 3 seed. They will face the winner of tonight's Colts-Titans game. That's the Colts. So we'll have a rematch of Andrew Luck and Deshaun Watson. The red-hot Ravens will take on the Chargers.
I feel like you're in a movie or something like that.
You know, this actually happened to one of the most storied programs.
The night before Texas played in last Sugar Bowl 23 years ago, a bizarre scene was unfolding. How former Longhorns view Ron McKelvey's con job now and where they think he is. But up next, chicken. How the Louisiana Longhorns let their teammates in on the best food secrets in their home state and why Malcolm Roach's injury only made him a better player. That's next. First Other Night Sports Sunday Stumper. Name the only 6 FBS schools that are winless in bowl games. We got that answer later in the show, but first, the best of 2018. You're watching.
This is 2018 Masters champion.
Hi, this is George the Iceman Gerb.
This is former Texas linebacker Jordan Hicks.
This is All-Pro Cameron George. Sports Sunday.
You got it, my man.
Sports Sunday. Sports Sunday. God, please, dude. And you're watching Pro Sunday.
Sports Sunday.
Oh, sports.
Yeah.
Current Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl champ Jordan Hicks.
And you're watching Sports Sunday.
And then you're watching Sports Sunday.
All right, as we continue this, the 2018 Craziest Predictions edition of CBS Austin Sports Sunday, it's my turn. Cake is baked. Just needs some icing. It's going to flip. These are the promises Charlie Strong made when he left in 2016. Tom Herman did enough last year to convince me all of those things are happening. Now, my craziest prediction as we enter the 2018 college football season, Texas wins at least 10 games. And Jeff, I'm leaning more toward 12. Now, before you start yelling at me about it, let me make my point. Nick Saban, 7-6 at Alabama, 12-2 his second year. Pete Carroll, 6-6, 11-2 his second year. Kirby Smart, 8-5, 13-2 his second year. Gary Patterson, 6-6, 10-2 his second year. And of course, Bob Stoops, 7-5, 13-0 in a national championship his second season. That second season just has a little bit of magic in it. I think Tom Herman has that this year.
I think 10 wins is in the cards. I think it's more because there's a favorable schedule than anything. But I just have questions there. I think, and I keep asking this question. I know it's oversimplified maybe, but what is this team good at? Like, what is their identity? I mean, I know they were great on defense last year. They're replacing guys, and they think they have guys that can come in and replace that production. So I think that's their strength. But on offense, if defense takes a step back, offense takes a slight step forward, I don't know. I say 8-4.
I know you do. 10+. There was a media member last year that predicted Texas would go 12-1 and win the Big 12 title game. He's changing his tune a year later.
Yeah, in addition to Iowa State beating Oklahoma again in the Big 12's upset of the year, our next guest is gutsy in his prediction for the conference title game.
My one crazy prediction for the college football season is that Iowa State plays in the Big 12 title game against TCU. TCU wins, but Iowa State's in the game. How about that, Bob Ballou?
Well, how about that, Bob Ballou?
Well, look, I don't think he's as off as people think he is. Matt Campbell's really good. This team finished tied for fourth in the league last year, one of their best finishes ever. They finished second in the division in 2004, 2005. Otherwise, they've been awful. But Matt Campbell's done a really nice job. I think Iowa State will be in the mix. I don't know if they'll get there, but I think they'll be in the mix.
Yeah, I think they'll be in the mix as well. I've got West Virginia and Oklahoma in my game. I'm buying the West Virginia hype again.
Yeah.
But this is the most confident I've felt in it ever. I think they've got the most sustainable offense. They have Will Grier, best receiving core in the nation coming back. That defense has added a ton of talent from other programs to replace guys that left last year.
I've got Texas TCU. How about some college football picks?
My one crazy prediction is Alabama won't make the playoff this year.
All right, my one crazy prediction for this year, while I was in the college ranks, and this was my prediction before all the past week's events. I really believe that Jim Harbaugh is going to win the Big Ten at Michigan this year.
All right, so we've got a no Bama and a yes Michigan. Here are my 4 college football picks. Alabama, Georgia, Penn State wins the Big Ten and finally gets into the college football playoff. And my wild card this year, Virginia Tech. Justin Fuente has done a really nice job already, did a nice job at Memphis. Those are my 4. Virginia Tech somehow gets past Clemson. Their schedule kind of sets up favorably.
Yeah, my easy picks, I've got Alabama, Clemson. I think those teams are just too good. With Alabama, usually I would say 2 quarterbacks is no quarterbacks, but when both quarterbacks have national title experience, I think 2 quarterbacks is just fine. Ohio State, I think, will be fine despite all this stuff going on. And then Oregon is my rebuttal to your Virginia Tech. I think Justin Herbert is a beast, probably the best all-around quarterback in the nation, in my opinion. First 4 games for them are at home. They get Washington at home. Their defense ranked top 50 in the nation last year and returns 7 starters this year.
Pac-12's kind of all over the place. We'll see how that goes. The Cardinals and Cowboys honored Senator John McCain with a moment of silence prior to the game tonight. Dallas playing without Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott and Travis Frederick and Zach Martin and Tyron Smith. And Dallas looked like a team playing without Dak and Zeke and Travis and Zach and Tyron. 6 turnovers in the first 2.5 quarters, 8 for the game. Cooper Rush with 2 interceptions, a bunch of penalties, just ugly from the word go. Arizona wins 27-3.
My crazy prediction for this coming football season, the Dallas Cowboys will finish last in the NFC East, and Dak Prescott will throw at least 20 picks.
Okay, now here's the thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, it wasn't the starters doing that, but your thoughts on Negative Nick a little bit here, his prediction for Dak and the boys.
2 quarterbacks in the last 4 seasons have thrown for 20-plus interceptions. Deshaun Kaiser did it last year in Cleveland. Anybody could do it there as a rookie. And Phillip Rivers did it 2 years ago, just to show you how hard it is to throw 20-plus interceptions. That's why I disagree with this. Without an offensive line, though, Dak and Zeke don't have much of a chance.
I just honestly don't even think they're going to throw the ball enough for this to actually
probably true.
Come to fruition.
Yeah, I could see that being the case.
Well, our final take tonight, number 1 pick Baker Mayfield is no longer a, quote, underdog, but the Browns insist he's still the backup to Tyrod Taylor this season.
Tyrod.
Oh, sorry.
Taylor hurt his wrist in that ugly 5-0 win over Philly, but he returned to the game. However, it gave you an idea how quickly things can change at quarterback. That's why.
My one crazy prediction for the NFL season, Baker Mayfield, you may remember him. He's going to lead the Browns to the AFC North title.
Jeff, in a division with Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati, the Browns win?
Yeah, I think the Browns are a lot better. I don't think they can win, but One thing with the Browns, they keep trying to act like Baker's not going to play, and that's fine. But I got a little stat here. Since 2012, 16 quarterbacks have gone in the first round. Patrick Mahomes, the only one to not start multiple games.
Okay.
So I think the difference there is Patrick Mahomes isn't playing for a Chiefs team that, went to the playoffs last year.
Sure.
So I think at some point, even if they're 3-4 and Tyrod is playing pretty well, I think Baker's going to be shown the QB1 spot.
Danny, no.
Aside from my Montana Grizzlies.
First of all, I'm getting
Bob, pay this man.
this crazy prediction is sponsored to you by Sean John. Here's my crazy prediction.
So my one crazy prediction is that Bob Ballou's going to see this?
What do I owe Anwar? Anwar, tell me what I owe you. We truly appreciate Nick, Anwar, Brian, Danny, Alex, Chip, and Joe for their predictions tonight. And no, we will never, ever let you live them down.
You too.
If you're wrong. You three. We're back after this. Let's answer the stumper. When was the last time Texas opened its season on the road at a Big Ten opponent? The answer, 1990, when they knocked off Joe Paterno and Penn State in Happy Valley, 17-13. We'll see if they can do it to Maryland on Saturday. We're back after this. All right, so we've been on Facebook Live as we've been doing this craziest predictions edition of Sports Sunday, and we just got a good one from Micah that said Baylor will have a better record than Texas A&M. He disagreed with himself. But the fun part of it was it gave us a chance to think about, Matt Rule really does have a challenge ahead of him. Jimbo really doesn't. I mean, he has a challenge in the division, but not with the talent he has.
Yeah, I think Texas A&M wins 7 games. If Baylor takes a big jump with Charlie Brewer and a pretty solid offense, I think they maybe get to 4 wins this year. I mean, to go from a 1-win
They
team
could be
last
6-6. I think Baylor could go 5-7.
I think that's a big jump. I
think A&M.
I see 4 or 5 wins.
I think A&M wins more than 7. I think
Really?
this is a much better. Nick Starkel's going to be really good. I think he beats out Kellen Mond, and I think he takes A&M to they're not going to win the division, but they'll be pretty good this year. All right, that's it. That's it for this edition of Sports Sunday, our craziest predictions edition. For Ant Barker and everyone involved in this one, I'm Bob Ballou. Go out and make it a great week, everyone.